All right, guys, welcome back to our series. This is our mini series that we are dropping exclusively here in September. A lot of you guys are headed to back out. You've been out for a couple weekends, and then now you're hitting your first real week off. This could not be a better year for Peak Rut as far as third week in September. We're looking at fall equinox, the 21st through the 22nd. We're talking the darkest moon. So we're hoping that the elk are forced to do a lot of the peak rut. All the cows are in heat, or a lot of them are during the daylight hours of the 21st and the 22nd, which is what we need for peak rut behavior, peak action. Speaking of peak, this is Peak's Equipment. This is a partner of ours. Today's episode is brought to you by Peak's Equipment. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on some of the gear that I love. The Peak's Duo headlamp, discount code ELKSHAPE will save you 10%. This has a red or green light plus a bright white light. Every light has 3 settings. Plus, you can hold a button down and it will flash twice, meaning it is turned off and will not get turned on accidentally in your pack. This thing is what we use. 2 is 1. I always have one in my side pouch and then one in my kill kit. You never want to run out of light, especially if you're cutting up an elk. Trekking poles, get the Backcountry Elites. The cork handle is what I prefer. You're talking about aluminum and carbon all into one. And trekking poles are life, especially me post ACL surgery back in January. I'm going to have a trekking pole out almost at all times for sustainability, for like the trajectory that I can hunt gracefully all of September. The new Peak shelters dropped. I've been rocking that 1P Solitude, which is awesome for solo elk hunters. If you want to set up a big base camp that also doubles as something you and your family can camp out of, check out the new 6P, which is awesome. It's spacious. You can go with the original 4P Solitude, which is really, in my opinion, more like a 2-person with all your gear. And you can get Seal Nylon, or you can get the new Dyneema in the Solitude 4P. Discount code ELKSHAPE, 10% off. And then obviously gaiters, like you need the Storm Castle gaiters are like a no-brainer, especially after it rains or morning dew, things like that. So Peak's got your back, huge partner of ours. They make this stuff possible. So we're talking about Peak Rut. We're talking about the anatomy of a close encounter. The close encounter is where obviously you have to do things correctly in order to get that encounter. You have to pay attention to the wind. I mean, if there's any doubt that you don't have the wind, even a crosswind is fine, but you have to know the wind. You have to have it on lock. If it's iffy, meaning if it's swirly, the thermals are competing against the prevailing, the air's not quite warm enough to blow all the way uphill, and it's still in a swirl situation, you are better off to just back out a little, wait in the wings for a more dependable wind, or take the long road, the high road, and circle just to ensure. There are times in Peak Rut where I didn't think, I didn't think I was going to be able to kill an elk because I couldn't get the wind right, and only to walk right into 4 or 5 bulls bugling, and it didn't matter. They'd lost their minds. That may happen only once all of September. So most likely you're going to have to get the wind right, or you're going to interrupt. You're going to invade this rut frenzy of where there's a hot cow or several hot cows. And all you really need to do is find a way to get in tight and hope to pray that some sort of situation plays out. I've found that the closer I am to elk, the longer I am closer to the elk, the more likely I'm going to get a shot opportunity. So exercising good patience, slipping in as the wind is predictable, and backing out unless you're just forced to go for it. But I don't think that's ever going to be a good idea unless you're like maybe on your last day or something. So get the wind right. The best places for you to shoot an elk obviously is going to be in some sort of terrain feature where you can shield your body because of the terrain and topography blocking their view of you. So you would have ideally just a little bit more higher ground. You're still on the same contour, but you're able to get yourself just a little bit up so that they can't see you, or have some sort of, cover, brush, trees, things that you can kind of use to your advantage to cut distances in half. And then finally, the elk are crazy. They might rut on an open hillside where you have no play. You might need to just sit down and watch. I doubt you're gonna be able to crawl your way in. There's always so many eyes and ears that, uh, it's just a matter of being patient, sticking it out, and things like that. But the best is Peak Rut, right? And for me, I've found that these elk are more vocal and they're vocal longer throughout the day, and that your encounter, like if you had a little counter in your hand and your encounter counter is going to be going up, you're going to get encounter after encounter. These are the days you've got to kill straight up. These are the days that you have to err on being slightly more aggressive than you would. Skip the old water break, lunch break, beat feet, and just try to get in the middle of these swarms. They're they're few and far between, and if you're in a swarm where there's just crazy intensity going on, lots of vocalizations, and elk running everywhere, cows getting chased, these are the days. I will say the last 100 yards is the most important 100 yards. There's a lot of times you're going to be able to move 5 to 10 yards at a time while the elk is bugling. It's almost like that sound will take everyone's attention away from potentially you, and that you can maybe get a little closer every time he bugles, and it'll cover your sound, your noise, things like that. Because when you're under 100, you do have to be delicate on making breaking a stick truly. And that is something I should say a long time ago, is like elk are loud, noisy animals. So you are going to be a loud, noisy animal if you're bugling and vocalizing. But if you are moving into a shooting position, whether you are the shooter or you're calling for yourself and you're now setting yourself up at the hang up spot, don't break a branch. If you're like me and you're under 100 and you're not going to make a sound, but you're letting the bulls talk to each other, every time a bull bugles, that's when I'm typically trying to be pretty aggressive and move up, constantly scanning for cows. These cows are what will block you from getting a shot. They're the ones that will pick you off. They're the ones that will run off, and the other elk will wonder, why did that cow run off? Maybe I should. And everyone's body language changes. Watch out for cows. Watch out for watch out for cows. Just watch out for them. They they will ruin your experience. It'll happen. But that's when I move. Is typically when an elk bugles. If he starts raking, that's when he's preoccupied. I can move in even closer. I love trying to get a shot on bulls while they're raking. They're fairly distracted. They still can see out their peripheral, and they will be, because they are trying to show off to another bull or to their cows. And so but when they go to rake, that's when you can make moves, or when they bugle, and just work your way in and get as close as possible for as long as possible. The last 100 yards are the most important. You have to be surgical. You still need to check the wind, and you cannot get picked off, or your encounter will probably get crushed. Typically, the bulls will want to peel off a hot cow. So if a bull's got 10 cows and one of them's hot that day, it's not uncommon for him to peel that one cow away from the rest, and they go off somewhere, and then the satellites take over. And that's where a lot of the ruckus and bugling's coming from. This is going to be a short-lived deal, and the satellites are running on borrowed time, because the bull will eventually be back probably that evening, and he'll get the rest of his cows, and that'll be that. So those type of opportunities, you have to like identify them, look for them, and make moves and be aggressive. I think that typically more elk, in my experience, have been killed with me and my dad on the 21st or the 22nd out of any other day out of the month. So for you to not be in the elk woods during those days doesn't make a lot of sense for me in 2025. Even if you got to call in sick, maybe you already burned your vacation time. I don't know what you got to do. You got to be out there. I think it's going to be fire, especially with the way that the moon's lining up for like anyone hunting in the Southwest. Like I've said before on this pod, I don't pay attention a ton to moon phases in the Northwest, i.e. Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. But when I'm in the Southwest of like, man, New Mexico, Utah, Arizona, I'm paying attention to the moon phase. Fortunately for me, this year, I'll be in New Mexico during this time around the 20th, and it should be absolute fire. And then I go right into Utah on the 22nd. So like, should be crazy rutting action. Looking forward to that. So I want you guys to take massive advantage of the third week of September. And I think you need to be able to make damn sure you're into elk every day. I don't care if you have to stay up all night bugling. I don't care if you have to like put your headlamp on the brightest setting and find the freshest sign. Like you need to be into elk. Do not sleep in on the 20th, the 21st, or the 22nd. I think these are the three most important days of the season. And this is when the iron is the hottest. You have to strike. And I hope that you can literally find yourself in a situation where you can sneak right into their own rut frenzy that you didn't synthetically create. You're just a part, you're just participating by spectating and then getting your shot opportunity when these bulls lock up, fight, rake, whatever. And elk are crazy and rowdy, and there'll be lots of moving pieces. You have to watch out for cows, and you're just going to have to be patient. I think a shot opportunity will present itself. Let's talk about marsupials chest packs. That's what they're known for. I do run their hip quiver, and I also have their soft bow case and some other things, but their chest pack, I like the fully enclosed to keep debris and brush out of my binoculars. My optic clear and shiny. It is magnetic. It does not interfere with compasses or anything like that on your phone. This is made in the States here in Arizona. Jim Graham founded this company several years ago, and it's blown up because it is the best on the market. We don't have a discount code, but they definitely support ELKSHAPE, and we ask that you support them because they do make the best chest pack on the market with awesome accessories. I would load up with a rangefinder pouch on your right side if you're right-handed, and a small pocket for any accessory gears that you can run. You can put a ton of gear in there. It fits well. I like the enclosed version the best because it keeps the brush and debris out of my glass, and the magnets do not interfere with my compass. Check out Marsupial Gear today. Matthews Archery out of Sparta, Wisconsin. They've been a partner of ours since 2019. Absolutely love their bows, their technology, their engineering, and their reliability. As a Western bow hunter, I don't have time to fix things when I'm in the backcountry. I feel like Matthews makes the most bulletproof setup with the best integrated accessories. Head over to a local dealer, try out the new Lift X in 29.5 or 33. If you're a shorter draw length, don't sleep on the RS. You're going to get great speeds, and it's easily the most tunable bow on the market. Montana Knife Company out of Frenchtown, Montana. Josh Smith, former lineman, blue collar dude, master bladesmith. Him and Brandon started this company out of a garage. It's grown into an amazing company that we believe in, and they support us. So we ask that you support them. Try out the Speed Goat 2.0. Throw it in your pack this fall. Get a bloody. See for yourself. It's going to hold a beautiful edge. Fixed knives are safer, especially for breaking down your critters. And this is something that you'll be able to pass down generation to generation. The last thing I want to talk about is drawing your bow without getting busted. I think you guys all know you should be able to sit on your butt and pull your bow back. That way you're not overbowed. I think drawing your bow back slow and smooth is going to be supreme for success. I have watched my dad yank his bow back so aggressively that he hit his stop so hard that the arrow pops right off the rest at full draw. And then there's a bull standing there broadside, 20 yards or less. And his arrow's dangling from the knock off the rest. And he's trying to get it back on. It's just a bad. Slow, smooth is a fast draw. So practice that if you haven't already. Do it at camp, whatever. Just make sure you can pull that bow back nice and smooth. Also, if an elk is staring at you and you have a cow call in your mouth, most of the time you can get away with pulling your bow back super slow. If you do it fast, they might flinch and react. But if you just go in slow motion and pull it back, get it to its stops, bury that pin, and then begin your execution. And if the bull bounces for a second, you can hit him with a cow call from your diaphragm while at full draw, and then start over. Settle the pin, get your aim done, tell yourself, here I go, and then talk loudly, work through it. And then I think also like pulling your bow back too early on a bull, I don't think it's as common as you think. But what is common is pulling your bow back and then the bull stops to where his vitals are hidden behind brush or behind a tree, but his head sticking out so he can still see if you let down. Those are the situations you'd wish you'd practice holding your bow at full draw and then typically making a shot. And it can get real shaky, myself included. I'm only good for maybe 2 minutes. at the most, and that's at the far end. This year, I've only practiced probably just over a minute holding a bow, but I'm telling you, like, adrenaline's a good thing. It can help you out. But at the end of the day, it's really difficult to let down no matter what you have for poundage. If you've been at draw for 2 minutes and you realize, dude, this thing I got to let down, being able to let down slow and in control is so critical without derailing your bow and without alerting the elk that you let down, and knowing that as soon as you let down, the bull will probably take a step because they're bastards that way. And then he'll finally take that step that you just needed. And then you go to pull and you're like, you won't have any juice. That's why you don't want to be overbowed. So make sure you're not. And I'm telling you, a fast draw is a smooth, slow draw. Nice and steady, get to the stops nice and easy, and then execute. And you will have more time than you think. And you got to get loud, especially if you've never killed an elk yet. You're going to feel like you got to just get that pin where it needs to be and get rid of the arrow. Do not get rid of arrows. Send those arrows on their way with a nice controlled shot. I'm telling you, shot execution is superb. And these peak rut days is when a lot of you are going to get your full draw potential shot opportunities. As soon as you break that shot off, study where the bull was. How did he behave? How did he react? What is your initial feeling? You got a good feeling or you got a sickness in your stomach and you're unsure of? Stay still. Grab your phone. Listen intently for him to crash, for him to cough, for him, which direction did he run? Take a photo. Film where he was standing, hang a ribbon right where you'd made the shot. Keep listening. After a few minutes go by, check the wind. Do you need to back out? If you're going to wait, might as well back out with your scent not in that area. Drop a pin. Note the time of day. Then come back in an hour. If you have a buddy, great. Have your buddy stand at the ribbon. Study your photo, your video. See if you could see the arrow. Go find your arrow. Can you find the arrow? What does tracks look like? Where's the blood? How long till you find blood? What's the general vicinity that he ran? Start putting together the clues. Is it back a little bit? What's the color of the blood on your arrow, on the ground? Did you ever hear him cough? Did you hear him crash? How many other elk were in the area? Could he blur his tracks in with other elk as they departed? That's going to make it tough. I like tracking with tracks. I like confirming with real blood, taking your time, and then you got to know when to back out. Is that blood dark? Man, give it 5 more hours. Could be a liver shot, going to be a fatal shot, but could require a second shot. Let him lay down and get super sick or expire completely before you pick up that trail. Is it guts? Can you call in dogs? Is it one lung? Is it double lung? Is it a high lung? Is it a low lung? Did you get a pasture? Did you only get one hole, 2 holes? A lot of this stuff, all the things you decide to do at that very moment will help you in the end. So recovering your elk. We did do a podcast with Dirk many years ago. You should download that episode, put it on your phone, listen to it after you make your shot. It'll tell you all the good stuff and all the bad stuff about tracking. Plus, it'll make you burn an hour, which is important to give that elk that time. Then you can figure out once you get your elk, take your couple photos or videos, whatever you do, and then get to freaking work. That's what's going to be awesome. Sharp knives, game bags, finding a cool area to get that temperature to drop to 55 degrees immediately. Get that meat cooled down ASAP. Should you pull the guts out? Are you by yourself? Is there sun out? Is it on the animal? Is there any shade? Do you have time? I mean, there's a lot to elk hunting. Remember, this is type 2 fun. It's hard work that you enjoy, work that you are basically privileged to be a part of. And that's what I want to finish the pod with, guys, is we are blessed to call ourselves elk hunters. We get to do this song and dance. People don't even know. They just don't. They should know, but it's okay that they don't. This is the coolest thing ever. This is how we will get our groceries. And we do it with the stick and string in September while they're going crazy. I hope you hit peak rut. I hope you get your shot opportunity, and I hope you make the most of it. Good luck to you all.